Every phone you've ever owned, every laptop, game console, TV remote, crack any of them open and you'll find the same thing. A green board covered in tiny metal lines. Billions of devices, all the same color. And the reason has absolutely nothing to do with electronics. If you've ever peeked inside a computer or watched someone fix a phone, you've seen it. That flat green board with a bunch of tiny components soldered on. It's called a PCB, a printed circuit board. It's the nervous system of basically every electronic device you touch, and nearly every single one is green. Not blue, not black, not red. Green. You'd think there's some clever engineering reason. Maybe green conducts electricity better. Maybe it's a legal requirement. Maybe the material just comes out green. None of that. Not even close. So here's the thing. The board itself isn't actually green. The base is usually fiberglass, that yellowish tan woven stuff. The green part is a thin coating on top called a solder mask. It keeps things from short-circuiting during manufacturing, like a clear coat on a car, except it happens to be green. And that solder mask, it can be literally any color. Red, blue, black, white, purple, yellow, they all perform identically. The color does nothing. So how did an entire global industry just land on green? This goes back to the 1960s and 70s, when circuit board manufacturing was ramping up. The original solder mask resins were mixed with hardeners and pigments, and the combination of that yellowish epoxy with the available green pigment just produced a clean, consistent green. It worked. People moved on. But there's a second reason that sealed the deal. Back then, quality control meant actual human beings sitting at workstations, squinting through magnifying lenses at tiny copper traces for hours, hunting for defects. Green gave the best contrast against the white printed labels and the copper underneath. It was genuinely the easiest color to stare at for an 8-hour shift. Blue was too dark, red was too harsh, yellow didn't have enough contrast. Green just worked best for human eyes under factory fluorescent lighting. And then momentum took over. The military and aerospace industries were the biggest early customers for circuit boards, and once US military specs started referencing green boards, the entire supply chain followed. Factories calibrated their inspection lines for green. Chemical suppliers optimized their formulas for green pigments. Ordering green was cheaper and faster because that's what everyone was already set up to run. By the time anyone stopped to ask, wait, does it have to be green? It was already the global default. Not because it was the best possible choice, because it was good enough first, and then it got locked in. Now, you can absolutely get boards in other colors today. Arduino boards are blue. Some gaming motherboards are jet black. Hobbyist boards come in red, purple, whatever you want. But here's the catch. Non-green boards usually cost a bit more and take longer to produce, because green is still what every factory runs by default. It's the medium white t-shirt of electronics manufacturing. That's just what comes out unless you specifically ask for something else. And most companies don't bother asking. Nobody buying a phone or laptop ever sees the board inside, so why pay extra for a color that makes zero difference? So next time you crack open an old remote, peek inside a desktop, or see a circuit board in a teardown video, that green isn't some brilliant engineering decision. It's a 60-year-old accident of chemistry, human eyesight, and military paperwork that just never got revisited. Billions of devices, one color. Not because green is special, but because changing it was never worth the trouble. If you found this one interesting, subscribe. We do this for a lot of things you thought you understood. See you in the next one.